How many people still working on warm-up? Okay. You had a negative 6s and a negative 5s, which gave you negative 11s. You have a negative 11t and a negative 3t, which gives you negative 14t. Did everybody see how I wrote it? And if you notice, it still is the same thing if I rewrite it. But we have to know that we won't see it this way. So if you did rewrite it, just know that your final answer must look like that without rewriting it as an addition. Alright, B. Negative 12t plus 2t, opposite signs, that gives me a negative 10t. Positive 3s, negative 7, it's negative 4s. Any questions on those two? Alright, simplify means, well, no, in this case, what property are we using in 2A and 2B? Distributive property, alright? So that means that this 5 has to go to everybody inside the parentheses, alright? Negative 5 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 15x. Negative 5, this is a negative 2, gives me a positive 10. Negative 5 times a positive 1 gives me 5. Negative 5. 6. Sometimes people draw their arrows on top. Sometimes people do them on the bottom. Doesn't matter. 6 times x, 6x. 6 times 3y gives me 18y. And this is 6 times a negative 5, which gives me negative 30. Starting second 9 weeks, you might want to be really careful as far as leaving off your negatives, because no more half points. Everything is going to be marked either completely wrong or all the way right. All right, factoring. We're looking for the least common factor out of 8, 12, and 16. What did you get?
2.
The least. It's the 1 and 8, 2 and 4. 12, I have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 16, I have 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. The answer is 4. It's the greatest common factor. Not the least. Because if you notice, they all have a 1, a 2, and a 4. And I'm going to show you why 2 is not going to work. If I pull out a 2, I still can get 4x minus 6y plus 8, right? Now, if I look at what's in parentheses, can I pull out another 2? Look at 4x, 6, and 8. Do you think I can pull out another 2? Yes. Because look, if I pull out another 2, I can get 2x minus 3y plus 4. So if you notice, not only did I have to pull it out one time, I had to pull it out again, which means that this wasn't the simplest form in the first place. So if I backtrack and use 4, I get what? 4 times what? Give me 8x. 2. Okay, put your sign. 4 times what? Give me 12y. 3y. And 4 times what? Give me 16. 4. How do I know this is right? What number do the coefficients and the constant have in common? Nothing but a what? Nothing but, if I do 2 or 3 and a 4, if I say 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 2, what do they all have in common? 1. A 1. Lets me know that's the smallest it can go. There's nothing else I can pull out of there. Versus when I pull out a 2, I was still able to pull out another 2. So the answer would be 4. And it's okay if you don't understand that. We haven't talked about it yet. We just put it out there. Anybody get the expression for the perimeter of the rectangle? Yes, no, maybe so? Okay, so y'all do realize that this was on your unit test. It was on just about every warm-up we did, not last week, but maybe the week before that. Did anybody try it? Yes. Nobody should have left it blank. Let me tell you about me. Nobody should have said, I don't know how to start this. I don't know how to do anything. If you didn't know it, guess what the first thing I could have saw? Perimeter, which means to do what? Add the sides, right? If I look at my shape, I have 2 missing sides. So if you didn't know how to do anything else, you definitely should have just filled in the missing sides, if anything. But just leaving it blank, not going to work. Now we know perimeter means to add all the sides. So if that's the case, I'm just going to write all my sides together. 2x minus 3y plus 2x minus 3y plus 3x minus 1 plus 3x minus 1. Then I can combine like terms. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 3 more is 11. No, sorry, 10. 2, 4, 7, 10. 10x. Now, negative 3y, and that's it. Negative 3 plus a negative 3 gives me a negative 6y. Then I have a negative 1 and a negative 1, which gives me a negative 2. And there you go. All right, any questions? All right, draw a line up under that in your interactive notebook for me. Get out your Chromebook. If you get on Google Classroom, you should see something that is called problem solving algebra. It's going to look something like this. If you click on Classroom at the top and scroll till you see the big title that says Algebraic Expressions, it'll be under that. Under your warm-up, your title for this will be Problem Solving Algebraic Expressions. So go to Classroom at the top. Scroll down until you see the big title that says Algebraic Expressions, and it's called Problem Solving Algebraic Expressions. Classwork. Right there. Do me a favor, get on Google Classroom for me, both of y'all, and just join my class. I'll write the code on the board in a second. This is my second period. There go the code. Alright, of course, like I said, your title is Problem Solving Algebraic Expressions. If you need to write down what I write down in your interactive notebook, you can. We're going to do 1 through 4 together, 5 through 8. I'm going to let you try. Number 8 on your paper is different from the number 8 on the board. We're going to use the number 8 on the board. Alright, so number 1 says the field trip. The 7th grade math classes are going on a field trip. The field trip will cost $7 per student. It's telling you to write an expression to find the cost of the field trip for S students. Then it asks you, what is the total cost if 26 students are going on the trip? All right, got a question. Do you see any keywords? Let's start by the first sentence. The 7th grade math classes are going on a field trip. Any keywords in that sentence? No. No. All right, let's go to the second sentence. The field trip will cost $7 per student. Yes. What's the key word? Which would mean to what? Multiply. So on your paper, in your interactive notebook, you would write number 1 under your title, Problem Solving Algebraic Expressions. You would say per would be a key word, which means to multiply. That's what I mean by if you need to write it down in your interactive notebook. All right, my next sentence says write an expression to find the cost of a field trip for S students. Got a question? What is an expression? What's the difference between an expression and an equation? If I'm in your way, you can move your way.
Expression doesn't have an equal sign.
Not necessarily. I can solve an expression too.
It doesn't have an equal sign.
Doesn't have an equal sign. Which one doesn't have an equal sign? Expression. An equation has an equal sign. And what do I call it when I use greater than or less than sign? Starts with the I. Inequality. Inequality uses less than, greater than. Equation, equal sign. Expression, no equal sign. All right, moving on. So they want us to write an expression. They also told us that S is the variable for students, right? All right. So they asked us to write an expression, but they also asked us to find the total cost of 26 students going on the trip. You told me per meant what?
Multiply.
So if it's $7 multiply students, what variable did they give us for students? 7S. Or, what's another way we'll see multiplication? 7.S or
7
parentheses S. You won't see the X. Why? Looks like a variable. Alright, so the first part told us to write an expression. All three of these are correct, they're just written in different ways. You'll probably most likely see it like this. The second question asks us, what is the total cost if 26 students are going on a trip? Now, how do I solve this expression with that 26? What am I going to do with it? Okay, before I multiply, it's a word for that. What am I going to do with the 26 and the S? Well, it's a word for that. You're going to switch them out. What is it called? What is it called in the basketball game if I'm sending in a what? Say it again. Substitution. Or evaluating. Remember when it said if S is equal to 26? Evaluate, what did you do? You substituted. So therefore, it'll be 7 times 26, which would give me what? 152. 152 what? What are we talking about? What is my question asking you? Somebody pause. Somebody read the last sentence for me.
What is the total cost of 26 students dollars?
So we're talking about what? Money. So therefore my answer should have a dollar sign. I will now start taking off if you do not put a handle on your answer. This problem required 2 answers. They wanted the expression, and they also wanted us to solve it if 26 people went. Yes.
It's 182.
182? I was trying to go off the top of my brain. Thank you. You're absolutely correct. So $182. How do I know I'm talking about dollars? Because it asked me for the cost, and I put a handle on my answer. We get used to just writing 182. And just that fast, somebody said 182 students. All right. Moving to number 2. Jason earns $20 per game as a referee in the youth soccer games. Pause. Are there any key words in the very first sentence? Earns. Positive or negative? Okay? Per game. Per means to do what?
Multiply.
Okay? So we already know that he earns a positive $20 times, clearly, how many games he referees. Alright? They want us to do 2 things. They want us to write an expression to find out how much money Jason will earn for refereeing any number of games. And then it says let N represent the number of games Jason has refereed. Then they ask us the second question. So let's back up. What variable did they tell us to let the number of games represent? N. Alright? So N is the number of games. He earned how much per game? $20. You told me per meant to multiply. And we know that what variable represents the number of games? N. You can see it 20.n, 20n, or 20 parentheses n. This takes care of our first question. They told us to write an expression to find out how much money he'll earn for refereeing any number of games. The second one asked me how much will he earn for refereeing 6 games. So therefore, n is now equal to 6. So what would I do?
Multiply 21 times 6.
Which would give me what?
120.
What are we talking about? 120 apples, bananas, turkeys, hamburgers, Perfect. So, how much will he earn for refereeing 6 games? $120. What is my expression? 20 times N, or 20 times N, or 20 times N. Alright. Skip down to number 8 for me. Your number 8 is going to be different from my number 8, but I want you to look at the number 8 on the board. It's the same problem, it's just that mine has a fraction. So we're going to look at this one. Same process, alright? It says the expression 9/5 C plus 32, where C stands for the temperature in degrees Celsius, is used to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Alright? And it says if the temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, find the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Let's break it down. This expression, what operation is going on between the 9/5 and C? Multiplication. Alright, it tells you C stands for the temperature in Celsius. Alright, they're telling me if the temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, find the temperature in degrees in Fahrenheit. So C is equal to 20. Does everybody see how C is equal to 20? Because it told you that it was the temperature in the Celsius. If the temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, what am I going to do with C? Substitute it in for what number?
20.
What's my next step? Okay, before I multiply, what do I have to do to that 20? 5. Alright, perfect. You put a 1 under it. Now, order of operations tells me to do what first?
Multiply.
Multiply. Do I need to get a common denominator?
No.
How many people say yes? How many people say no? Why?
Because it's multiplication.
Multiplying. Perfect. We only do that when we're adding and subtracting. Here we go. 9 times 20 is what? 180. 5 times 1 is plus 32. What is this known as a what? Improper. And what do we do to impropers to simplify this? Divide it out. Somebody divide it out and tell me what you get. Giving more people to work it out. Let me tell you, somebody yells out an answer, work it out for yourself. Don't just go off their answer. They could be 1 off, 1 over. You just need to double check for yourself. So we know that 180 over 5 plus 32, that was 36. Plus 32, which gave me a total of what? 68 what? What are we talking about? Fahrenheit. So my total answer will be 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And all we had to do, they already gave us the expression, we just had to plug in C. And 8. You and your partner are responsible for 3 and 4. 5, 6, and 7 you do on your own. You and your partner are responsible for 3 and 4. That means that on 3 and 4 you can get some help. 5, 6, and 7, I want want you to do on your own. And we'll talk about them on the board.